Hello and welcome to the Game Ready podcast. This is Coach E. Allen. I am not solo. I'm going to wait to introduce my guest. But this is an extension of what we covered last week. This is an extension of the life after athletics. Last week, like we discussed, athletes very rarely prepare for life after sports. And a lot of athletes, like myself, former athletes, they look for a second act to keep the competitive juices going and keep themselves physically active and give themselves an opportunity to just really gauge where they're at physically so that, you can maintain a healthy, competitive lifestyle that you're used to having in your younger days. The guest I have coming on tonight, he is one of the cutting edge golf instructors in the golf world. He's TPI certified. He's extremely knowledgeable. He has a very cool and interesting program where he applies golf not only as a way to diagnose certain movement pattern issues, but he also uses it to actually improve people's confidence, use golf as a way to move forward professionally in a more social manner, using golf as the main tool. And so he knocks out like three birds with one stone. He's going to explain a lot more how we do this. And I want to bring my guest in. My name is Coach E. Allen. This is the Game Ready podcast on the Sideline Sports Network. And this is part 2 of the Active Life series. And this is one conversation this is one conversation you want to hear. So let's go. Let's make it happen. All right. I want to introduce my guest, and there's feedback. Anthony Thomas. He is a long drive professional, and he's done a lot of he's done a lot of cool things. Do you hear the feedback?
Yes, yeah. I think it's just the tropical storms. You got to deal with that, right? You just got the tropical storms, the rain. It's all good. We'll get through this. We'll get through it.
Yeah, it's a lot, man, because I want to have you back on. Yeah. To discuss a little bit more about what you do. This is one of the most intriguing aspects of golf that I'm lucky to even have knowledge of. I met Anthony at the PGA event here in Orlando, Florida, that happens every year at the end of January, and we struck up a short, brief conversation. And I thought he had a really, really cool system on how he works with golfers. And then he's now expanded that into what he does now. This is one of the most prolific long drive golfers that you probably will meet. I wanted to actually try to go into long drive. I have not figured out a way to become more mobile yet. So right now we're working on the mobility aspect. The strength is not an issue. It's the mobility aspect. I gotta, I've said before, you listen to some of my other content. I have a swing like Charles Barkley, and his swing is a lot better than mine right now, in which it's saying a lot. So, without any further ado, here is the Tyler's Performance certified expert, and what Anthony does, he uses golf to read the body's movement, and he helps build a golf swing around that movement. He's TPI certified, Tyler's Performance Institute certified expert, which I'm also a Tyler's certified TPI expert also, but Anthony's taking it to another level. He uses golf as a diagnostic tool that helps high earning leaders and entrepreneurs find the missing link between their performance and their durability, and they find ways to show up in other ways in their lives. And he uses golf as a really holistic tool to improve people's lives. It's really cool. He's the founder of How You Golf Community, which is on school. I would suggest you go check it out and join. He has a very, very active community on there. And if you love golf, you're a high earning professional, this is the man you need to talk to. He's the no nonsense guy. He's going to bring a lot of energy tonight. And let's please welcome Anthony Thomas. Anthony, it's good to have you.
Woo, my man. Hey, I appreciate that so much. I really do. I love the intro. The one thing that I will say is energy is everything. Energy is everything. You know what I'm saying? Like you we're sitting here, we're like, all right, we got a little bit of audio feedback. We could be like, oh, this is gonna be tough because the audio, this, the rain, the thunder, and all that stuff. And you could be like, I'm crumbling because of this.
Oh,
Or you could be like, let's get it. Come
yeah,
on, let's
yeah.
go. And
Let's
I
go.
love that. I
Yeah,
love that.
and I appreciate it. It's here. We're here in Central Florida. Anthony is out on the West Coast where it's really nice.
Yeah, it
You've
really
ever
is.
been in Orlando during the summer, you can set your
Uh-huh.
clock by the rain. So we
Yeah.
just got caught. We just got caught in the time where we're gonna record this episode. But I'm
Hmm.
gonna have Anthony on, and I hope he's gracious enough to join us again and really go a little bit deeper into what he does.
We'll see. We'll see how this goes before I commit to that.
Oh, of
You know what I'm
course,
saying? We're gonna see if we vibe, we're flowing, it's gold. I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'll be back. But
it's it's a done
I
deal.
reserve the right to decline.
Yeah, understood. Hey, that's understood, man. I totally understand that it's been an eventful 20 minutes dealing with the feedback and other issues.
We're good. We're good, baby. We're good. Let's get into
But
it.
but we're good. Before we go into everything, Anthony, tell us a little bit about yourself, and let's start off the conversation. In your words, what does Anthony Thomas do, and how does he apply golf to his own life?
Yes. I put simply, I am a performance coach, and that's just human performance. So, what I do is I use golf as the conduit for performance. So, the people that I work with, they usually have some goal. There's something that they've had kind of burning inside them that they haven't attempted yet. Like, man, I kind of want to do this thing, and it's lived inside them for a while and they just haven't brought it to life. Or they're doing something already, whether that's a career or they're in a passionate pursuit of something. They're doing it already, but they're not doing it to the level they want. I just use golf as a launch pad for them. So I work with people closely one on one where I just collaborate with them and I pull out the best from people. So when you're sitting there thinking, man, I should be farther along than I am right now with whatever that is, the career or your passion, I'm the guy that goes and pulls that out of you. I'm the guy that goes, if nobody else is in your corner, I'm in your corner and I come bringing strategy. So everybody has that I work with typically one, maybe two missing links. It's not much, but it is the thing that connects the whole chain. So I just help pull that out and connect that chain and give people a proper plan to execute. So that's kind of the big thing I do. I just use golf as the conduit for that. And that's where I build the How You Golf community, totally free for anybody to join. And the common thread is everybody golfs, whether they're brand new at golf, whether they're a scratch golfer. We got class A teaching pros in there. Like, it's not just like this small group. Golf is the thing that binds us all, but the Elite 18, which is my core group inside of How You Golf, that's where we do the actual leveling up, the real heavy work and the big pushes where you're going to see a huge change.
That is huge. This is a just like I know we just met. We haven't known each other a real long time, but that is one of the main reasons why I even approach golf. I look at golf as a way to actually just continue to improve physically as I get older, because it's
Hmm.
one of the hardest things to do is not have a way to gauge your physical ability as you get older. And a lot
Yeah.
of people just they overwork themselves in these settings, and they get in these settings and they don't know how to actually gauge if they're really even getting stronger, becoming more mobile, or even becoming more active. They just come in here and they'll work out and they'll run a treadmill at the gym and do some curls and then they'll call it a day.
Yep.
Golf gives you an opportunity to actually see how your body is responding to the training that you do. And Anthony is taking it to another level where you can actually use golf to improve yourself both mentally and professionally, which
Hmm.
is huge. I mean, I love the concept. It's I mean it's our concepts are aligned. I just look at it more from a physical aspect. Anthony looks at it more from a skill. If I'm not overstating myself, you look at it from a more skilled professional aspect, which is huge, which is very interesting.
Yeah, the thing is like what you do is a major key to unlocking the best performance for anybody. So when I'm working with people, we still have the physical aspect to if you want peak performance from you, physical is a non-negotiable.
Yes,
There's other stuff we can work around, right? If you want to go out and play better golf, but you have a really hard time with this club or that club, we could work around that. But
Mhm.
if you're like, I just want the best performance for me, I just don't really want to do anything physical to improve my body's performance, you're not going
Yeah,
to reach peak performance. You can still improve, you can still see some great results, but you're not going to see peak performance. So what you do is a major step for anybody in anything that they do. Physically, you have to be dialed in if you're going to be a high performer. Period. Doesn't matter who you are.
exactly. And
Yeah.
that, though every high performer, if you look at the individuals who perform at a high level, even professionally, they are
Mhm.
physically fit, especially if they've done it for a long time. It's
Yeah.
not, if they're physically active and they have a way of applying and really setting side time to really take care of themselves physically and
Mhm.
mentally.
Yeah, and the thing is, it doesn't take. I mean, not everybody is, oh, I'm pursuing professional sports or I'm this big athlete or I want to have this big push, but you could get a lot of benefit from 10-minute workouts. You don't have to
Yes.
go crazy. There's so much, whether it's a mobility thing like you were mentioning, where you're like, I need more mobility. You get a lot if you're consistent and you get your 10 minutes in day after day. There's a lot there. There's some days that you can go 30 minutes. There's some days you can go 45, whatever it is. The people that I work with, for the most part, most of the people that I work with are entrepreneurial. Even if they are a W-2 employee, they work for a company, they still like, I want to keep climbing. It doesn't take a ton on the physical side to elevate the performance that we're going for with whatever their goals are. But it is an aspect that you definitely should not ignore. You should have some plan in place. And what I do, you said skills. I would say it's more strategy and execution. A
There
lot
you
of
go.
times people, I'm not a genius. Most people know what they should do, but still don't do it. I don't need to tell people, hey, do this, do that. The missing link that I usually fulfill for so many people is that I'm the guy that gets you to take action when nobody else could, or when you couldn't yourself take action on what you already know. Yes, I
Mhm,
do share things, teach things. I have my whole toolkit and all that stuff that I dump into my Elite 18, every single member in there. But
mhm.
for the most part, people know what they need to do. It's just that separation of, I'm not taking action. What is the block? Why am I not doing this? What is it? And I'm the biggest hype man for my E18. You know what I'm saying? My Elite 18s, I'm their biggest hype man. I'm gassing people up. I'm getting people to move off of the block that they're on. And when things get tough, I'm the
Yep.
dude that's like, you can experience this difficulty right now, but we're not going to stay right here. And I keep them moving. I keep them moving. And then we're always executing. So I'm like, let's keep it low on teaching. Yes, we learn things. Yes, there's stuff that we got to learn for sure, but high on execution. That's the big thing for me.
That is huge. I like that. I need to take a little page of that problem, which makes
We all do. We all do.
yeah.
I For myself, I'm the same thing. You will always catch me with a coach, a mentor, or myself in a mastermind. I will
Mhm,
not go another year of my life without being in something like that, because growth is so important to me. And you level up so much faster when you have someone that's a little bit ahead of you or way ahead of you in
mhm.
some aspect, that aspect you're really trying to, connect the links with. Jump in something like that, save yourself time. I don't need to reinvent the wheel. I don't need to try to figure this out on my own. It's a
Yeah.
problem that's already been solved. Just
Mhm.
get the playbook. So that I will always do that. I'm with you, man. I'm the same thing. I have people who are connecting my missing links as well that I work with. So it's not like I'm some
Oh no.
special snowflake, or you know what I mean? Like, we all have this.
Yeah. And that's a mark of a great coach. One of the things that you do, you always are in the reflective mode, and you're always looking at it from an aspect. I'm learning along with me teaching. That's a
Yeah.
huge. That's huge, man. I love that. You've been an athlete your whole life. How did you find long drive? How did you actually get into long drive?
Yeah, man, that was an interesting path. So I'll keep it brief.
Yeah.
I'm the youngest of three boys, 5 and 7 years older, my brothers are. And I just chased them for the first 13 years of my life: baseball, basketball, football. And then the middle brother picked up track. And baseball was my first love until I was 13. Then I found golf. I'm the first in my family to play the game. Nobody, no siblings, no aunts, no uncles, no cousins. Nobody played golf. I was playing Xbox, Tiger Woods on the original, the OG Xbox. And I was playing. I didn't even have the game. It was my friends. I was just always, like, yo, can I come over and play? And then one day he's like, you want to just go play real golf? I had no idea that I could even do that. Genuinely, I didn't. At the time, it was just like, the video game is dope. That's it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I was like, yeah, for sure. We went out and played. I had a broken wrist, so I had a cast on my right wrist. We went out and
Mhm.
played. It's the winter time in the Pacific Northwest. It was super cold. And I hit one good shot that I will forever remember, because I tried to hit a ball over this ice iced over pond,
Oh
didn't
wow.
make it. I smoked the ball, but I didn't clear the pond, and it was just this epic moment. Anyway,
Mm.
long story short is I picked the game up at 13, hooked, and I played self-taught all the way up through high school. Played high school golf, and then in college I kind of stopped playing the game because I was a broke college kid and doing other stuff. Right after I graduated college, I had a year that I didn't compete in any sports at that time, and that was the first time in my life. Because even in college, like I was doing other stuff, right? I was doing kickboxing, Muay Thai, stuff like that.
Mm.
I had a year that I didn't compete in anything. I was eager to compete in something, so I was like, either go back to a sport you've already done or try something new.
Yeah.
So like, let me try this long drive thing out because kickboxing, that was the most recent from at that time for me. And I was like, that's a lot of energy. That's a lot of effort. And I'm not really trying to do all that work right now, to be
Mhm.
honest.
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
I was like, let me go. Went out to an event, signed up, went out to an event, and I hit the seventh longest ball that day against the pros. Like the whole field, I hit the seventh longest ball, and I hadn't played golf in the previous year. You know what I mean? So I was like, maybe if I train at this, there's something here. And then I just kept showing up. I was like, I'm in it now. So I kept showing up, started training for it, and then eventually a little trophy here, a little trophy there, a little trophy here. You know what I mean? Some other
Yeah.
trophies, that sort of thing. So eventually got in the winner's circle a time or two, and I just loved it.
That's sweet. That's sweet. So what is it? What do you think? What does it take to hit a ball 430 yards?
Man, it was yeah. So my career long, I think, is 432 technically, but I just 430. We'll make it a round number.
Yeah.
And I just tell people all the time, man, it's conditions, right? I hit that 430 yards and it was uphill into the wind and it was snowing. And I'm just playing, I'm just playing, I'm just playing. Just kidding.
Okay.
It wasn't at altitude either. So I did it a couple times. I
Oh,
did it once at the World Championships in Thackerville, Oklahoma, and I did it
okay.
another time up in Canada. We were right outside Niagara Falls. So it
Okay.
wasn't those balls weren't like, oh man, you're up in Denver, right? I never actually hit in Denver. I wish I would have when I was still actively competing. But what it takes to hit 430, man, it's honestly, I didn't know it while I was competing. But now looking back at what I know and what I've learned through Titleist Performance Institute with Dr. Greg Rose and Dave, but man, these absolute wizards of
Yeah.
the swing of the golf game. What I look at it now is it was massively about sequencing. If you
Yes.
don't have the right sequencing, it doesn't matter how explosive you are if you're exploding at the wrong time. You still might hit it far, but you're not optimizing how far you can hit it, right? So largely about getting the right sequence, and then you got to hit the right number. So your launch angle, right? If you can move the club, everybody loves to look at like, oh, how fast, what's your club head speed? What's your club head speed? What, it's like,
Yeah.
what's your ball speed? What's your ball speed? Those are all great, but if you don't launch it at the right angle, if you
Yeah.
don't have the correct spin rate on it, it kind of doesn't matter because you might move the ball really fast off the club face, but it's just gonna balloon up because it's too
Yep.
spinny or whatever, right? So to hit it 430, you need a combination. You need your body to be in good form to where you have strength, explosiveness, and mobility, and you got to be able to sequence those correctly. And then you have to be able to square the club face up once in a while with the right numbers on the launch, the spin, and everything like that.
I totally agree. The what attracted me to the TPI system is that the belief that every golfer has a unique swing, but they all swing the great ones, and the
Mhm.
ones people who can swing consistently, they swing in a sequence that mirrors each other.
Correct.
It's a it's
Yes.
a it's a
And
it's a yeah.
that's the thing that I love as well. And that's what really hooked me on to TPI because I've never been a guy, you can go back to my whole history of my life, socials, all that stuff. I've never been a guy that's been married to a brand. I've never been a
Mm,
guy that's been married to a company or anything like that. I've always been about, even when I was competing, like these driver heads, there's a few,
oh, yeah.
there's crank up there. These were some of the heads that snapped during competition for me, or I cracked the club head or the face or whatever.
Mm,
I've hit crank, which is they make fantastic drivers. I've hit Callaway. I've hit a whole bunch of different clubs. I've never been married to one company. And the
mhm.
reason is I've just always been about, like, I have two rules with my reviews of anything is keep it real, share the feel. A
Yeah.
lot of times companies don't love that, especially when they want an athlete that's just going to go and push whatever their thing is. I was never that guy. So I was never sponsored or brand, oh, I'm attached to this or anything, right? Still to this day, it's the same operation. If there was ever a company, an organization that absolutely won my heart over, it was Titleist Performance Institute. And the reason is I remember sitting there very skeptically, like, okay, what's going to be their philosophy and what's going to be their thing and all that stuff. And it came down to, hey, here, if you're wondering what the Titleist Performance Institute philosophy is, it's very simple. We don't have one.
Yep. I
And I was
loved
like,
it.
whoa, 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 what?
I love it.
And
Yeah.
then Dr. Rose, Greg said, we don't believe there's one way to swing a golf club. There's a million ways to swing a golf club,
Mhm.
but there's only one efficient way per body. And that won me over because forever, again, I'm self taught. So, in being self taught, I had to watch so many golf swings to try to figure out what movement, where should I be, what, and all I did was I just went every week. I was on the PGA Tour. This is back, 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10,
Yeah.
whatever. I was on PGAtour.com and I would just I would rank in order the tour players that were the top 10 in distance, in accuracy, and in approach. And
Mm,
all I would do is I would watch their swings and I would just look at like, okay, this is the spine angle. Does he have the same one that he has and he has? And all I would do is scrap anything that was different. And I would only focus on what they all did the same. It was like, that's all I need to focus on. Right.
yeah.
So when I heard this philosophy from Greg and Dave, I'm like, that's it. This is the first place that I've seen or first people I've interacted with that get it. I thought for so long, maybe I'm crazy, right? Like maybe, I'm a little bit nutty here. And then they just kind of confirmed what I had, this core belief that you should not try to make your swing look like this swing or that swing or Tiger or whoever, because you're
Mm,
built differently. You have different needs. You have different physical needs. You have different
mm,
physical capabilities. So it's
mm,
like, we need to figure out what you're able to do. How much range of motion do you have in this shoulder? How much range of motion do you have in your lumbar? All of this stuff
mm.
before we even get to what your swing should look like.
Exactly.
And so that's what won me over, was like, this is how it should be. You shouldn't be married to one thing because it's a name or it's a brand or it's anything like this. You should find what's the most efficient. And some years, Titleist wins in the woods category or the irons
Mhm,
category. Some years it's Strixon, or some years it's TaylorMade, whatever it is, right? It's like, I've never loved being branded and married to something like that, because you wouldn't be able to keep it real. You wouldn't be able to be authentic
mm.
with what you really believe and feel and all that stuff. So TPI does a great job of that, where they're updating information, they're learning new things, and they're going, hey, we have corrected this. We actually don't need this screening anymore. We're going to substitute it for this one because this one actually collects more data on the body we're screening to be able to say definitively, this is what we should do with that person, with that player.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's fascinating hearing him talk, and I've done the refresh course the last 5 years, and I learn something new every time.
Yes.
I'm one of the geeks when it comes to human movement. That's why I
Mhm.
even got involved in this industry. It's
Yeah.
human movement. Human movement is fascinating to me. It's one of the most it's one of the most fascinating subjects in golf. It allows me to actually apply my knowledge and the little nerdy part of me that loves human movement to something that is very measurable,
Mhm.
extremely measurable when you talk about improving somebody's move.
Yeah,
It's
for sure.
you,
For
you
sure.
can't.
And that's like, so inside How You Golf, my Elite 18, the group that I
Yeah,
work really, really close with one on
yeah,
one. And I talk about this repeatedly. You're just one missing link away
yeah.
from connecting your chain and getting this sorted out, right?
Mm-hmm.
The same is true for most golfers. If you would consider yourself an average golfer, let's just say, or let's say you shoot in the 90s, right? You're pretty consistently. Maybe you're over 100 once every 10 rounds or whatever, but you shoot in the 90s. You are very likely just one little adjustment or one tiny improvement in your body's abilities or capabilities away from being able to hold the correct position through the swing to be able to go, I just went from shooting high 90s and I break 90 now pretty consistently. You're usually just one or two tweaks. Like in your experience, you're screening athletes, right? We go
Mm-hmm.
through the TPI screen and
Oh
we
yeah.
go, okay, here's our data, here's all the data points, and here's what your screen was. How frequently do you have an athlete who they're a golfer, like they play golf pretty consistently? How frequently is it that you go, oh, you have a million things you have to work on, versus like, if we just made this one kind of improvement, you would see a massive difference.
Yeah, it's like 90% of the time.
Right.
It's
It's
like
usually, for most people, it's the same that I work with, like, hey, let's use golf to develop your personal growth or your career. It's the
mhm,
same with the physical body in your golf game. It's usually just one tweak away from like, hey, if we just improve this a tiny bit, we get you a little more mobility here, you're going to see a huge difference in the game.
yeah,
It's just one missing link for most people.
yeah. I totally agree, and it makes it simple, and it
Mhm.
doesn't overwhelm people when it's broken down to them in simple terms like that.
Yeah. Yep.
What would you say to somebody who says that golf isn't an athletic sport?
I would say I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. Golf is not an athletic sport. However, playing good golf, you need to be pretty athletic.
There you go. I like that.
Yeah,
There you
you could
go.
play golf. Golf in itself doesn't
Mhm.
require you to be an athletic person.
Yeah.
But if you want to play good golf, even if your body shape isn't what people would look at as athletic, I would
Yeah.
argue, what does an athletic body look like? Because somebody's going to say something like six-pack abs and, built like this, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll say, okay, show me one Olympic gold medalist thrower of the shot put who has six-pack abs.
Exactly.
It's like everybody is different, right? You play D-line in the NFL. You were one of the most athletic people on the planet.
Mhm.
Most of them don't have six-pack abs.
Not in
You
not
know
in
what
that
you so yeah, it's and golf is like you could play golf and not be highly athletic, but it does require a lot more than a lot of other sports do for you to play the game well because you can be developed as an athlete in a lot of sports and be an absolute idiot.
Yeah, big time.
You
Yeah.
you train the neuromuscular connections and you train your response time and you just perform, especially because it's so fast paced.
Mhm.
But golf is like 2 seconds of fast paced movement that
Yes.
the golf swing is under, 2 seconds long. It's 2 seconds of that aggressive movement followed by a long waiting period where you get mental to where it's like actually playing Texas Hold'em. It's playing poker and card counting and all this stuff where you got to factor all of these different attributes of what your next shot is every single shot of the round for hours and days on end. So if you want to do that at a high level, it requires you to be a pretty dang good athlete.
Big time. That's a great way to put it. In the I try to stay away from the John Daly connotation because
Uh-huh.
it kind of gives people a way out where they can start to compare themselves to John Daly. John Daly is a freak of nature.
Yeah.
He is somebody who is extremely athletic, but he
Mhm.
doesn't look like an athlete. You
Correct.
wouldn't think he was an athlete. John Daly is an athletic human being.
Yep.
He
Yep.
has extremely just unnatural mobility, and his ability to generate force from the ground is bar none. Right? It's very efficient, and
True.
he's one of the ones that's truly blessed. At one point, did you go from producing speed and wanting to understand the human body, what's underneath the human body?
Phew, that's a really good question. So when I was competing, which I stopped competing after the 2019 season in long drive. 2020 got killed, that year, COVID year, whatever. And then
Mhm.
I started family building, having kids in 2021. So 2019 was my last full season competing, finished top 20 in the world, finished 17th at the World Championships. All I was focused on was hitting the ball farther. That wasn't move the club head faster, which is what people are focusing on present day. You see everybody like, oh, what's your club head speed? Club head speed. That was not my focus. My focus was how do I get this ball to go farther? Because that's long drive. Nobody cares how fast you swing if you drove it fast or if you drove it farther than them.
Exactly.
So I wasn't focused on, oh, move the club head faster, unless that was the one weak link of like, that's how I need to get more distance. In most cases, it wasn't really, I needed to add more speed. When I went to TPI, my first time at TPI, I was there, worked with Dr. Rose, just all the full screening, full rundown. And I walked in the door swinging 145 club head speed. I think I was at like 146 max once I was warmed up and loose and giving it my best there. I worked
Mhm.
with Greg TPI for literally, I think it was like 15, somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes. We worked on some stuff and he got me moving at 149.7, I think was like the fastest clocked on TrackMan at the time. And that was amazing. It was like, how do you, at that point, I was moving it pretty well optimized for where I was at. And to find 4 miles per hour faster or even 3 miles per hour more is like insane, right? Average golfer, not that huge a deal. We can get that club head speed difference 3 more miles per hour in an hour long session like pretty easily. But when you're talking about the people that have all we're doing is going for distance and speed and all that stuff, that's a huge jump to do in 15-20 minutes. So the time I wasn't even focused on the human body, on optimizing this or that. It was literally just how do I get this ball to go farther? That was it.
Yeah, it's simple.
It wasn't a human body thing. It wasn't if it was mental, if it was anything, didn't matter. It just get ball go far. That's what I want, right? So fast forward, hang up the long drive boots, so to speak, and then fast forward a few years, and I kind of avoided golf for some years up until last year. And then last year is when I just realized I'd done a few other things entrepreneurially, and I was just like, I'm sort of avoiding this big elephant in the room where I have a high demand for it. A lot of people want to learn how to hit the ball farther. A lot of people want to learn how to play golf. A lot of people want to learn character things. Like people would hit me up about like, how are you so joyous? How do you communicate this level or this to this person or to that person? It seems like you can talk to anybody. There was all these things that it was like, it all came back to golf for me. I found the game when I was 13. Most 13-year-old boys are pretty dorky, not great at communicating, can't really connect with everybody. It was just, there wasn't a whole package there. The game of golf gave me everything. I had to play because I'm the only one in my family that played. I got paired up with randoms all the time of all different ages, skill levels, backgrounds, everything. So I had to learn how to communicate and interact with people on a real deep level. That's the human skills that I learned from the game of golf. And then etiquette, and then the mindset, and all of these things. So this all just kind of came back to me last year when I was just thinking, man, what should I be doing with my life right now, career wise? Like, truly, what should I be doing? And I was certain it was something in golf, 100% something in golf. And then I had to figure out, what is that thing going to be? That's where How You Golf was born. And I started it originally to help be a sort of host to new golfers. I realized there's the COVID wave of golfers. Most people pick up the game and they don't know etiquette. They don't know the history. They don't know tradition. They don't know a lot of things. And it's kind of creating this tear in the culture of golf. And that's not good. So let's get How You Golf going, help beginners learn the game in a better way, in a safe way where they're like, okay, I can go play the game by myself. I don't have someone to introduce me to the game, but I'm kind of interested in it. Now I have How You Golf, and there's this whole course in there that'll teach me everything I need to know, from where do you park in the parking lot so your car doesn't get hit by a golf ball, to how do I book a tee time, to how do I hold this golf club, right? The whole thing, right? That was the start of it. But then it wasn't enough. And then I'm like, okay, let me get better at actually helping people thoroughly with the game of golf. Let me get better at communicating what I know from my time, my era, and everything in developing my golf game, my long drive game. Let me get better at being able to communicate that and break it down. And let me put a system behind it. And that's when Titleist Performance Institute enters the game. And then I'm like, all right, I'm just going to run through these certifications, and I'm going to keep going, keep learning, keep going, keep learning. And I'm just going to keep helping people along the way. Then, and that is kind of the point where the interest in the body connection and all that stuff comes in to play. But then one level deeper for that was, I realized all these people that are interested in golf, they have different needs. They have different desires. Some just, they're hooked on the game and they want to play more golf, but it's expensive.
Yes.
Great. Others are like, the game's all right, but I need it, or I would like to use it because there's insane value in business. So I got to get good enough to play the game well enough to conduct business. And then business golf is a whole different culture and set of criteria and how you relate with people than just golf, right? Golf etiquette is very different from business golf etiquette. And so there's this whole package that I'm like, let's start helping people with that as well. Let me fast track people. Let me get something that I can fast track somebody who's really bad at golf to where they can play good enough golf fast so that their golf game doesn't get in the way of them conducting business. So they can do that right away. So I do that with people. Then there's people that play golf at a decent enough level where it doesn't get in the way, good enough golf already, but they don't really have the chops. Or like, how do I do business? How do I use this game to conduct business? And what most people do wrong is they go, I'm going to go play business golf. Me and Coach E, we got a tee time. I'm going to go out there and be like, Coach E, I got this thing to sell you. Would you like to buy it? And it's like, first of all, nobody wants that. We're out here to play golf. We want to enjoy ourselves. Second of all, the people that are doing business on the course, in my experience, I've been in plenty foursomes where people conducted business I was not a part of until I finally caught the thread of this. The ones that are actually conducting business, they're just showing up like, how might I be able to serve Coach E? Not what can I sell him? I have this thing, packaged goods, services, whatever. I could sell him, but that's not what I'm asking. The questions I'm asking him are, how can I serve you? What are you going through in life right now that maybe you could use some support with? What is something that is like the big goal for you right now in your personal life or your career? And maybe it's the case that I can't even solve that, but I can connect you to somebody who might be able to help you. The people that show up to the course with something to give, you show up to serve, those are the ones that do the business. And it can't be some fake it till you make it type of thing. Like, oh, hey, how can I help you today? It's like, no, man, you got to show up and legitimately be willing to give to people. You have to really have that. And that's one of the criteria for me, is like, I don't work with people who don't want to give to the world. I want you to make money. I want to help you make more money. I want to help you use golf to make more money for you, but not if you have no giving bone in your body, right? Like, I want you to be a good person that loves people, that wants to give, that wants to contribute. That's the kind of person I love to work with. I'm not interested in working with someone that's just in it for themselves.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's a recipe for disaster and really putting yourself in a position where you look like a slime ball.
Hey, there are plenty of slime balls that are killing it in the world,
But
and to each their own.
but I think it's not sustainable in my opinion. My
Right,
opinion is
right.
it's not sustainable, and you won't reach the people you're supposed to reach. You will reach some people, and you'll have some success, but it will never be on the level of somebody who is of service and who
Yeah.
has. And I totally agree with that.
That's my hope. I have that. I don't know that I necessarily wholeheartedly believe that, but I do hold on to that as my hope. I do,
Yeah.
and the reality is, it in what I'm doing, it kind of doesn't matter because whether that's true or false, whether it's accurate depiction or it's inaccurate, it doesn't matter because it's the people that I want to work with are the people that are like they're good people. They want to give.
Mhm.
They want to build something great for themselves and earn what I call good money. Good money is when you earn good money, you're making more money than you were before we started working together for sure. And you share it with the people you love the most. You share it with your community. You get to go, I'm gonna go treat, whether it's I'm gonna go treat my moms to something nice, or I'm gonna go take this young kid out he shows a lot of promise. He's a hard worker. I'm gonna go treat him to something. Whatever it is, there's a million ways to give to your people, to your community. That's the kind of person that I want to work with. That's the kind of person I love. And where we are right now, every single person in the Elite 18 is that type of person. And I love it.
That's huge. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a lesson in how to create a community of people who really genuinely want to make the world better. And
Yeah, they do.
yeah, not to get real preachy. Everybody has their way of doing
Yep.
good things, but the main thing you have to be a person of service. And I totally agree. So
Hmm.
now trying to tie all this together as a former athlete or everyday person, why is golf such a powerful vehicle for staying active and for having a capable life?
I love that question. Let me take a second. All right. I'm the youngest in my family. And like I said, I found golf when I was 13. At that time, my pops would have been 43. Now, my whole childhood growing up, I heard stories of how he would be out playing basketball with my brothers and he'd be playing baseball and doing all this stuff. And I didn't experience that with him. Makes sense, right? A little older. He had his first knee surgery was in high school. He shattered his knee playing basketball in high school. So there's a lot of stuff, army guy, all the things, right? I didn't get that active dad experience that my brothers got. And I started the game when I was 13. Of course, he didn't golf. Nobody in my family golfed, but he was running me to the course or to the driving range or whatever. And then a few months after I was into it, he saw I was hooked for day after day. This is all I want to do. And then he picked up a club one day at the range. He hit a pitching wedge and he flushed it. Pure. It was like crazy. His first swing, first time hitting a golf ball, it was crazy. And then he was like, "Oh, this is an easy game." So he pulled out another ball and he hit it, tops it, shanks it, hooks it. He misses, whiff, all of the things, right? That every golfer knows.
Yeah.
So then he was hooked. He was like, okay, now he's chasing the dragon, right? So that was when I was 13. I'm now 37. I have played golf with my pops when he was in his 40s, his 50s, his 60s, and now his 70s.
Mm.
I have played golf with my pops, with my brothers, who now play golf too, and with my nephews. And that is something no other sport really offers you. You're not going to have 3 generations competing together, playing together. Also, by the way, on a level playing field when you start bringing in the handicap and tee, where you're playing from and all that stuff. It is the one game, the one sport that you can literally build the deepest bonds with people of all different ages. I can't think of another sport or another game, whatever you want to call it, a sport, a game, doesn't matter. I can't think of another one that you can actively play into your 80s and actually have a good time doing it. And then especially if you have a proper plan in place, right? The TPI certified professionals, you could find plenty to work with in your area, plenty to work with online. If you have your body right, you could play this game into your 80s relatively pain-free. I got a guy, Jason Troopman, who is he's in the Elite 18 and he's a TPI level 3 golf certified coach. And he's in his late 50s and he had back pain for 30 something years, chronic back pain for 30 something years, goes through TPI program, gets his certifications, all this stuff. And he is sitting now as a scratch golfer who he didn't reach scratch until well after, in his mid 50s. He's playing with 0 back pain, He solved his back pain problem, all this stuff. And he didn't do all of that until he was in his 50s. Now, tell me somebody that picks up, they've been hooping their whole life, but they've been chronic back pain, all this stuff. And they, in their 50s, they fix that and they're still hooping and playing the best basketball of their life or football or
Oh.
baseball, anything. Golf is the one thing where you can play this forever and you could still have pretty decent competition into your 80s and you're able to play with 3, 4, 5 generations over that you all can have a great time and play your own game. You all can benefit from it. You all can bond. You all can understand and appreciate. It's not like this dude can dunk the ball. I was never able to dunk. I don't know what that feels like. It's like everybody can hit a driver. Everybody can hit a putt. Everybody can hit a fairway. You know what I mean? It's the common thing that we all can share. And there's infinite life lessons built into it for your personal development or for your career development. The way that somebody plays golf will tell you everything that you will need to know to figure out, is this somebody that I actually want to go into business with? Is this somebody that I want to bring on as a client? Is this somebody that I want to partner with? Is this somebody that I want to be their client or not? Because I see how they handle that bad shot that had a great bounce or that horrible shot that got a great kick. You know what I'm saying? I played in this tournament on Saturday and I pulled my drive on this par 4. I've got 75 yards into the flag. I'm hitting out of the rough on the left. I hit this wedge. I hit this wedge so poorly. So I had a great lie. I hit it so poorly, but I got an amazing kick and I'm sitting 6 feet away from the pin, right? If it bounced like it should have bounced, I would have been off the green on the left side, probably on the fringe with like a 30-footer. But here I am sitting 6 feet away. And as we're walking up to the green, my playing partners were like, yo, who is that? Who is it? They didn't even see me hit the shot, right? They're like, yo, who's that tucked up next to the pin? I could have been like, oh, you know what I'm saying? That's your boy, you know. You know, a player do what a player do. You know, I could have done that and I could have played that and I could have gotten away with that. That's just not who I am. I keep it real. I'm like, yo, I hit a horrible shot and I lucked out. It kicked way out of ordinary and all that stuff. And they're like, you didn't have to tell me that. And they're right.
Yeah.
I didn't have to tell them that.
Yeah.
But for me, I have no problem keeping it real. Like that's just how I operate. I don't have to remember what I told you, what I told them because I told you this much and I'll just keep it real. Bro, this is what happened.
There it is.
Yeah. That's it. You get to read people thoroughly.
Yes.
By playing golf with them. So all of those reasons, and I can keep going on with all the reasons, but all of those reasons, that's why.
Hopefully we'll have a chance to expound on that a little bit more. You know, but you know, when you're building a legacy like you're doing with your business and with the how you golf community, when you're 80, what do you think your body and your golf game will look like? Yeah.
Man, if I am fortunate enough to make it to 80 years old, I so hope that I can play this game still.
Yeah.
And if I'm fortunate enough to still play this game, I don't even have an estimation of what that may be like. I mean, that's 43 years away for me. And I'm very well aware of I want to put this gently because a lot of times this is very off-putting when I share with people that I think about death every single day. Every single day.
Yes.
And I don't think about it in a way of like, you know, like I'm thinking of wrapping it up, you know, hanging it up. That's not how I think about it. I think about it in the sense of everybody, every single day is just lucky for us to be alive, you know, and any day, if you want to have a new appreciation on your life, go to a children's hospital to the ICU.
I agree.
I'm 37 years old. I'm pretty healthy. I've made it this long. If I make it to 80, I have no idea what's going to happen between now and then. I can hang up our podcast session here today, walk outside and get hit by a car, fallen tree bearing. Anything could happen. So I don't even think to guess on what my game looks like by then. But what I will say is that I hope that I'm able to still hit a golf and walk the course.
Good. And that's the best way I can put it up. You know, we're going to wrap up. It's been great having you on here, Anthony. We're going to have all this information in show notes. I hope the conversation you thought it was actually going to be. Hopefully we can get Anthony back on here. I'm going to try and coax him on here and to try and expound a little bit because he has, as you can see, has a very, very expansive wealth of knowledge on the game of golf. And I'm a details person, and anybody who breaks things down to the finest detail, I'm all in, and I love listening to it. So this is like I learned so much today that I had no idea that there was a difference between business golf play and regular golf play. I didn't know there was different etiquette but it makes total sense. If you want more of Anthony, you should check him out on Instagram. He has a great Instagram. I mean, he does some cool things. You'll see him and his boys, him and his two sons, on the putting greens and on the driving
Mhm.
range. This guy's he's an example of what I would consider the the very just consistent and genuine golf representatives in this in this world of golf, which I'm new to and I'm trying to learn as much as I can. If you want, he's on YouTube. I don't have everything that in the show notes about how you golf and the how you golf community and where he teaches everyone his expertise and how we're going to really we're going to really have a good detailed sketch of where you can actually go and reach out to Anthony if you have any questions. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. It's been a pleasure, Anthony. Thank you for coming on and for all your assistance, in the production going in.
If I may, one last thing, kind of as a parting
Yes,
thing,
please.
is I love philosophy. I love talking theory, but when it comes to stuff like this, where you're going to share and who knows who's going to listen to it, I'm more about like action. Like, give me something actionable, a takeaway. And one of the things, like you mentioned, you're like, I didn't know there was a difference of golf etiquette and business golf etiquette. I want to leave you with at least something, since if this is new to you, where you're just like, whoa, I had no idea. One of the key differences is that in golf, if you do something that breaches the etiquette, like let's say you walk in somebody's line,
Yes.
usually that's a big no-no. And usually somebody you're golfing with is going to say something like, hey, yo, watch my line, or hey, yo, you just stepped in my line, right? Usually that's what's going to occur, is they're going to address that. When you're at a business golf outing, it doesn't usually get said. The difference, a big difference, is that when you're playing business golf, somebody's just assessing you from start to finish, right? First tee, even before you step on the first tee, but first tee to 18 green, you step in somebody's line, they're going to tally it internally. They're not necessarily going to be like, oh, hey, you stepped in my line. They're just going to be like, huh, okay, got you. See that? Not very careful, not very cautious, not very considerate. So people are tallying this stuff, but they're not, business golf, they're not as likely to share what you're doing wrong, because they're just assessing your genuine raw character before trying to correct you and let you show face a little bit more. They're just going to see the real raw you and tally it up. So it's things like that if you don't know, you just don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like you just don't know that. So that's the one thing that I would say. And then for people, if you do want to get in touch, the best way, like you said, just go to howyouGolf.com. That's the easiest way. It'll direct you straight to my school community, free to join. HowyouGolf.com is the easiest way to join, to connect with me.
That's how I connect with him. It's the fastest way to connect with Anthony. He answers his messages on school within minutes. I mean, it's if you join the community, you really have a true uh, asset and truly a good person that will actually teach you about this game. And like I said, hopefully we can get him back on here. I want to thank everybody for joining us on the Game Ready podcast on the Sideline Sports Network. It's going to be one of the best episodes, and I'm proud to have my buddy Anthony on here. And I want to thank everybody for joining us. You guys have a great evening and take care.
That's a wrap on this week's Game Ready podcast. If this conversation moved you, share it with someone who knows that what you do outside of the lines of competition defines everything you do inside of them. Don't forget to like this episode and hit the subscribe button to join us every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll be here. Get ready. Stay ready. Be game ready.